Today I'm going to show you the basics of crocheting. We're going to start with our hook. I am using a 6mm hook with a rounded head. Sometimes these are pointy, I prefer rounded. 6mm in American sizing would be an I hook. Here is the tail end of my yarn. We are going to start with a slip knot. So there are a couple different ways to make a slip knot, so I am just showing you one way to make a slip knot. So I am right-handed, so my hook is always going to be in my right hand, but I'm going to use my left hand to make my slip knot. I'm take my pointer finger of my left hand and wrap my yarn around it, like so. So it's kind of hanging over the edge there. And then I'm going to pull it around so I make a little X. And then taking the yarn that is coming from my ball of yarn, I'm going to put it through to make a little noose and then pull on both ends. So I have my tail of my yarn and on my right, and the yarn on my left is what is coming from my ball of yarn. Then I'm going to take my slip knot and put it on my hook, and then pulling on the yarn that is going to the ball of yarn, I can tighten it. You don't want it too terribly tight on your hook because you still want it to be able to move. And then I hold my crochet hook with a pinch. So I hold on the flat part with my thumb and my pointer finger because my index finger, sorry, I don't put my middle finger goes there. My index / pointer finger is what I use to steady my yarn or hold my yarn on my hook. So here is my tail. I'm going to start by making a simple chain. To do so, you're going to hold the yarn that is coming from your ball of yarn. You're going to put it behind your hook so it forms like that. I pulled my tail just to kind of support it. Then this is the tricky part. You're going to pull that yarn through the loop on your hook. So while you are putting the yarn behind your hook to make another chain, you are holding the loop that is already on your hook with your index finger, and then you are using your pointer finger and your thumb of your non-dominant hand to hold, at this point, your chain, little baby chain, and your tail. But as you work more and your project gets bigger, you'll have more to hold on to. So then I'm just going to pull that through and do it, oops, again. And sometimes it does slide off because our aluminum hooks are nice and slippery, which is good because you want to be able to move the yarn. So you want to pull about the same amount through every time. And as you can see, every time I go to pull that hook through, I kind of slide it to the same part on the body of my hook. And I hold it, and then I slide that yarn over behind my hook, and then I just slide it through. And obviously, as you get better with more practice, you can get faster at this, but the most important thing is that you are keeping your tension, which is how tight you are pulling the yarn. You want to keep your tension the same, so that way all of these chains, all of these spaces are roughly the same size. And you can see it kind of will shrink up as you're working, but it'll spread out. So your chain is going to be small or larger than your finished product because then your stitches are going to be tighter. So once you get a number of chain that you like for whatever project, it's going to look like this. Oops. So for right now, I wasn't counting. So let's go ahead. I will show you how to count them. So you have your front loops and then you have your back loops. So the front is going to be fairly flat, but the back of your product or your project, the back of the chain, has these extra bumps right here. So you want to work into the front. So sometimes you will see in a pattern, front loops only. So you're going to go in the front, and you want to go into the top. But here I will show you how to count. So I always start at my slip knot. You can count from your hook. So I will actually show you both ways. So I'll go from the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I am counting each of those little bumps on the top. So I'll show you from the slip knot. So here's my slip knot. Again, I'm counting the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that is how you make a chain.